You've never been in a police interrogation room. But right now, imagine sitting across from a detective.
Just tell me where you were last night. It's a simple question. I told you already, I was at home. I don't know anything about this.
And you're confessing to something you didn't do. Not because you're broken, not because they forced you, because someone you love is the reason you're there. And here's what I need you to sit with before the story even begins. Would you do the same? Her name was Clara, 34 years old, elementary school teacher. The kind of woman who remembered the names of every student she'd ever taught, even the difficult ones, especially the difficult ones. The night of November 14th, a convenience store on Maple Street was robbed. The cashier, a 19-year-old kid working his second shift, was hit hard enough to require surgery. He spent 11 days ICU. The surveillance footage was blurry. The suspect, medium height, dark jacket, moving fast. 3 witnesses said they saw a car matching Clara's, and Clara, when the detective sat her down at 9 p.m. on a Thursday, said the words that would change everything. "It was me. I did it." She didn't flinch. She didn't cry. She just folded her hands on the table and said it like she'd been rehearsing. But she hadn't been rehearsing. The detective, a woman named Reyes, 20 years on the job, the kind of face that had heard every lie ever told, didn't celebrate the confession. She leaned back, studied Clara, because something was wrong. Clara's hands were steady. Her voice was calm. But her eyes kept moving to the left. Not in the way people move their eyes when they're lying, in the way they move when they're protecting something. Reyes had seen it before. Not often, but enough. She asked Clara to describe the store layout. Clara did, but vaguely, with just enough detail to sound plausible. She asked what Clara did with the cash. Clara hesitated for half a second too long before answering. Reyes asked one final question. "Where was your husband that night?" Clara's jaw tightened, just barely. A millimeter of tension that lasted less than a second. "Home," she said. "He was home with me." Reyes wrote something down. She said nothing. Here's what you need to understand about Clara and Daniel. They met at 22. She was studying education. He was finishing a law degree he never quite used, bouncing from one underpaid job to the next, while she built a career that actually felt like something. They had no children. They had a small apartment with mismatched furniture and a cat named Archie and a habit of eating dinner on the floor. Because neither of them wanted to buy a table. People who knew them said they seemed like 2 people who had consciously decided to love each other, not fallen into it. Chosen it? Daniel had been struggling for 8 months. Quietly. The kind of struggling that looks, from the outside, like being tired. He stopped sleeping well. He stopped laughing at things that used to make him laugh. And Clara watched it and said nothing to anyone, because she believed that if you love someone, you carry their darkness with them. She just didn't know how dark it had gotten until the morning after the robbery, when she found the jacket. It was in the back of the closet, behind his winter coats, dark, slightly damp, with a smell she didn't want to name. She sat on the bathroom floor for 40 minutes. Then she thought about Daniel. His hands, the same hands that had once held hers in an waiting room when her mother had a stroke, the same hands that still made her coffee every morning without being asked. She thought about the law degree he never used, and how a criminal record would erase every future version of him. She thought about the 19-year-old in the ICU, and she felt sick, but she told herself the boy would survive. She told herself Daniel had been desperate and afraid and not himself. She told herself a story, the way people do when they love someone and the truth is unbearable. And then she drove to the police station. Now, here is where I need you to stop, because this is not a hypothetical anymore. The person you love most in this world, your person, made a terrible choice on their worst night, and the only thing standing between them and prison is you. You don't condone it. You're not sure you can forgive it, but you love them. and you know them, and you know this is not all they are. Do you walk in, or do you drive away? I want you to be honest with yourself right now, not with the comments, not with what sounds noble with yourself. Because most people, when they imagine this moment, they say, I could never protect someone who did that. But they're imagining a stranger. They're not imagining the person who slept next to them for 9 years, who cried at their father's funeral, who knows their coffee order and their worst fear, and the sound they make when they're pretending to be fine. Love doesn't make you blind. Sometimes it makes you too clear. You see exactly who someone is, including the broken parts, and you choose them anyway. Is that devotion, or is that complicity? Because here's what the law says. It's complicity, and here's what love says. Love doesn't say anything. It just sits there, quiet and heavy, and waits for you to decide. Clara was arraigned within 48 hours. The public defender assigned to her was young, overworked, drowning in cases. He told her the evidence was thin. He told her a good attorney might get her out. He asked her twice if she was sure she wanted to maintain the confession. She said yes, both times. At home, Daniel was falling apart. He wasn't sleeping. He wasn't eating. He sat at the kitchen table for hours, not moving, Archie curled in his lap, staring at a wall. He knew what she had done, and he said nothing. 2 weeks in, the DA pushed for a sentencing hearing. The cashier had recovered but had permanent nerve damage in his left hand. He'd never play guitar again, a detail that was mentioned once in a local news article, and that Clara read in her cell and couldn't stop thinking about. Her lawyer called. The DA was offering 5 years. He needed an answer by Friday. It was Wednesday, and Daniel was standing at a crossroads that had no road out. On Thursday night, Daniel walked into the police station. He didn't call. He didn't bring a lawyer. He just walked in and asked to speak to Detective Reyes. She looked at him for a long time. I know why you're here, she said, and he told her everything. Now, here is the part of this story that will stay with you, because I need you to understand what Reyes found when she reopened the file. Clara had confessed on November 5th, 10th, but the surveillance footage, the blurry footage that everyone had accepted as showing a single figure when enhanced, showed 2 people. One entered the store. One stayed by the car. Clara hadn't been home that night. She had been there, outside, in the car, waiting. She hadn't committed the robbery, but she wasn't innocent either, and she had known that. When she confessed, she had chosen the version of the story that made Daniel disappear from it entirely. She hadn't been protecting him from something he did alone. She had been protecting him from something they had done together. Daniel stood in that room and finally understood what she had traded. Not just her freedom, her version of herself. The woman who remembered every student's name had looked at everything she was and quietly set it down. Who would you be in that car? Not the hero version of you, not the person you describe yourself as at dinner parties or in moments of reflection. The real version, the one that exists at 2 a.m. when no one is watching, and the person you love most needs something that you know is wrong. Would you stay in the car? Would you go in? And if you went in and someone got hurt, would you confess? Would you confess more than what you did to make the person you love disappear from the record entirely? That's not cowardice. That's not even love. Exactly. That's something older and more dangerous. Something that lives in the part of us we don't talk about in polite company. The part that says, I would burn it all down before I let you fall. The question isn't whether Clara was good or bad. The question is whether you recognize her. Clara accepted a plea deal. 18 months, reduced for cooperation once Daniel came forward. Daniel received 3 years he had been inside the store. The 19-year-old cashier testified at sentencing. He looked at Clara directly and said he didn't understand how a person could do this. Clara didn't look away. She served 14 months. Daniel was still inside when she was released. She got an apartment. Found work at a tutoring center. No classroom, not yet. She visited Daniel every 2 weeks. On the drive home, she always stopped at the same gas station, got the same terrible coffee, and sat in her car for a few minutes before driving on. No one knows what she thought about in those minutes. Maybe nothing. Maybe everything. Maybe she replayed that night, the cold air, the engine running, the choice that didn't feel like a choice, and tried to find the exact moment where a different version of her might have existed. Or maybe she already knew. Maybe we always know. We just don't always want to. I'm not going to tell you what the right thing was. You already know I'm not going to do that. But I want you to leave one thing in the comments. Not a judgment, not a verdict. Just this: at what point did you stop understanding her? Because the moment you answer that honestly, you'll understand something about yourself that most people spend a lifetime avoiding. If this story sat with you, even a little, share it with someone you trust. The kind of person you could call from a police station. The kind of person who already knows what you'd ask. The car was still running.